In this video, you're going to learn all the basics that you need to know about financial maths, things like the effective interest rate formula, things like hire purchase, and a bunch of other basic stuff on financial maths. So, to start off, we are going to talk about the effective interest formula. So, with this formula, we know that we have two I's. This is your interest for effective interest, and this is your I for nominal interest. Our M refers to how many times interest is added in a year. So, for example, if your investment is gaining interest monthly, your value for M will be equal to 12. If it's quarterly, your value for M is a 4. And then a few more, semi-yearly, daily, and weekly. So with our effective interest formula, what we basically need to know is what M is. Because depending on what they'll be asking you, if they ask you for effective interest, we know that they would have given you your nominal interest. If they ask you for your nominal interest, they would have given you your effective interest. And depending on how many times your investment is going to gain interest in a year, they will always tell you monthly, quarterly, semi-yearly, daily, weekly. That piece of information will always be given. Questions on the effective interest formula will generally be 3 marks, 4 at the most if you're very lucky, but they are very basic, and this is basically all you need to know about this formula. So with financial maths, we may be very familiar with these 4 formulas. Now the idea is when we work with the first one, we will be referring to a situation where we are mainly dealing with things like inflation or an increase in value of a certain amount or the increase in value of a certain product or substance. When we deal with this formula, we know that we'll be referring to questions that deal with hire purchase. So obviously with these two, we know that this is our compound interest formula. The one under it, we can refer to that as our simple interest formula. So apart from that, we know that these two are mainly used for these two scenarios. The ones down here, we mainly use them when we are dealing with depreciation. So in a situation where we know that we are working with simple depreciation or linear depreciation, we will be using the formula at the top. When we are dealing with compound depreciation, we know that we'll be using this formula down here. Now the idea is obviously with these two pairs of formulas, the first pairs have plus symbols in between the 1 and the interest. These ones have negative symbols in between the 1 and our value for I there. So obviously ones that have a plus there, you use those for questions where something is gaining value. The ones here where you have a negative, you use those for something that is losing value. So this can be actual money losing value, or it can be, let's say, the value in like a car decreasing yearly or something like that. Apart from that though, our variables A, P, I, and N all mean the same thing for all these formulas, in the sense that A, you can informally refer to that as the amount after, in the sense that A is the amount after a certain time period has passed. To make better sense of that, P, you can simply remember that as the value before a time period has passed. So this is how you can differentiate whether you have been given an A value or a P value. P will always be referring to the value of something before a time period has passed. A will always be referring to the value of something after a time period has passed. So you can think of this as the P4 value and this is the amount after. That's for A and P, and these are ways to simply remember it. And they're informal, which make them much easier to remember. Because remember, in maths, what you always want to keep in mind is, depending on how you remember the theory, it should always help you work out the practical questions. Because in maths, you never get theory questions anyways, unless you're lucky. Anyways, so with I and N, I, we know that refers to interest, and with our value for interest, you always want to put your given value for interest over 100 before you put it into this formula, always. So you never use the actual number that you're given for interest in your formulas. Whatever value for interest you're given in any equations you'll be working with, you always need to put those values over 100, always. With n, will always be the number of times interest is added. Now, n is very important. This is where people lose or gain a lot of marks, in the sense that with n, n will always need to be multiplied by one of these values depending on your given description, in the sense that if your amount of money is going to gain interest over 5 years and the amount is compounded monthly, semi-yearly, quarterly, you always need to make sure that your value for n is the years that you're given multiplied by your compound, in the sense that if they tell you it's compounded monthly, you multiply your years by 12. If it's compounded quarterly, you multiply your years by 4. All of these apply depending on how many years you're dealing with. You'll always need to multiply your n by one of these 4 numbers, rather 5. While we are on that, another very big issue about your financial maths is depending on how many times your amount is going to gain interest in a year, it will always affect your value for I, in the sense that whatever you put in your calculator will always need to be over 100. Now, furthermore, depending on how many times your money is going to be compounded yearly, you will always need to, for example, if your amount is compounded monthly, what you put there in your formula will always need to be your value for I divided by 100, and then whatever this value is, it will also need to be at the bottom, in the sense that if your money is being compounded semi-yearly, this is what you put in your calculator in the slot where I is. That's what you put on your formula. If it's compounded quarterly or weekly or daily, it will always affect what value you put there. So again, whenever you're going to be working on actual questions, for example, now you're going to be working on financial maths, feel free to send a DM on Instagram, and then I'll definitely be able to help you out with anything that you'll be working with.